Hey, what's good, everybody? It's me, your hero, Benjamin Banks, and you're watching Leveling Up with Benjamin Banks, and it is another brand new episode of Who's That Cosplayer? And joining me today is somebody who I have been following on TikTok, the world of TikTok, for such a long time, and I'm so happy to finally get a chance to interview her because she's really popular and she's always posting amazing content, and that is Danyelle The Variant. Danyelle, how are you doing today?
I'm doing pretty good.
Hey, that's awesome to hear. Are you doing pretty good or are you doing pretty amazing?
We'll see.
But no, for real, thank you so much for joining me. I'm happy to, finally get a chance to interview you. Like I just said in the intro, you put so much amazing content out on TikTok, and I've been waiting for this. So before we get into today's interview, everybody that's watching, make sure that you like this video, subscribe to the channel, and you hit that bell button so that way you're always notified when we have new content on Leveling Up with Benjamin Banks. And as D always says, podcast link down below in the description. Like, follow, subscribe. So let's go ahead and get into this interview. So Danyelle, the first question that I ask every guest is, what is your origin story? Every hero or villain has one, so tell everybody who you are.
Okay. I found out that I was autistic a couple years ago. So that's fun. So I'm kind of like as cliche as it sounds, like on a self-discovering journey, like being able to figure out things about myself. I spent like the first 20 years of my life like very confused about what was going on inside my head. And so learning that I'm autistic is a huge part of who I am, I would say, and a part of my journey. And I've got to meet a lot of amazing autistic cosplayers on TikTok and stuff. So it's really cool to be out there and, let each other, you're not alone.
Yeah. Yeah, I really like that. Oh, I'm sorry.
You good.
Okay, no, I was just gonna say, I love when, like how you say you're autistic and you put yourself out there in the community and then you meet other people that are just like you. And like you said, you're not out there alone, and, you find out more about yourself. And that's one of the things that I love about cosplaying, is because when you do cosplay, you're putting yourself out there, not just for people online, but also when you go to the conventions and you meet people at these cons, you form friendships, you become family. One of the things that I love to say about conventions is it's like a giant family reunion, because you see people there that, you've met at cons before, or people that you've met online, and you're finally meeting at cons, and it's a fun thing. So I want to ask you now, like, what was it like when you first started cosplaying? Like, did you start cosplaying and putting content on TikTok, or did you start cosplaying and you went to a convention to show off some of the awesome content that you could put out?
I started cosplaying about 4 years ago, I think. Unfortunately, I haven't been able to go to a convention yet, but I have met a lot of amazing people, and I definitely do plan on going to conventions eventually. But yeah. When I started cosplaying completely by accident, I stumbled across this account that was cosplaying, did a lot of cosplaying from Heather's the Musical, and then I was like, oh my gosh, people do that? That's cool. You can still be an adult and play dress up. That's cool. So I started doing that. I was like, that's a thing.
So what was the first cosplay that you had cosplayed as?
I followed the account's lead and did Veronica Sawyer, and then I moved on to Coraline, and then after that I did a lot of Marvel, and I'm still doing a lot of Marvel.
Yeah, and that's what I was saying at the start of this, when all of the content that I've seen you put out, I love your Marvel content. And you guys, y'all see what's in the background, but if you don't follow her on TikTok, I highly suggest following her on TikTok, because she puts out some great stuff. And from X-23 to Rogue, Scarlet Witch, for somebody that's never been to a convention and to have all of these cosplays. And when I went on your Instagram and putting the slideshow together and just seeing all of the stuff that you've done, like seeing Squirrel Girl, Elsa from Frozen, Loki, they just pulled up on the back of the screen behind me. What are some of your favorite cosplays that you've done over the years?
President Loki is definitely a fun one. Unfortunately, it's summer right now and that one's really hot, so can't wear that one right now. But if it ever gets cold again, you know, if summer ever ends, definitely he's coming back.
Nice.
X-23 obviously is a huge comfort cosplay of mine. Obviously Squirrel Girl, you see, like, those are like my main two right now that I do a lot. Also Scarlet Witch. I haven't done her as much as I'd like to lately, but I'm hoping to bring her back soon. So yeah,
you know, I mean, I understand. Before spoilers, you've seen Multiverse of Madness, right?
Yes.
Yeah, so it's just like, you know, I understand. Well, I mean, let me ask you. So, do you consider her a villain in that movie, or do you just consider her a mom that's trying to get her kids back?
I kind of put her in kind of the same genre as like Magneto.
Okay,
kind of. So like, it's not good what you're doing, but I understand why you're doing it. You know?
Yo, I completely understand, because it's like Magneto, for example. It's like he's a villain, but at the same time, like, he just wants for mutants to be respected, whereas you know, he thinks that they can do whatever they want because they are the superior race because they have abilities and whatnot, compared to Professor X, where it's just like, no, we all just need to live together and turn the other cheek. And X-Men is one of my favorite Marvel series, and one of the things that I love about like the cosplays that you do is that you do so many X-Men cosplays, like going back to your X-23, which is the one that I've seen you do the most. Now I want to ask you, like, why is this character so important to you?
It's just I guess kind of like you see in the comics, kind of her like growing into her own person and realizing she can make decisions for herself and kind of like finding agency, and realizing she does not have to follow orders. And like you see how like she's kind of gets lost in that, and like, you know, it's just like a journey of self-discovery, which I feel relate to a lot. Also, her mental health journey, it's, you know, she doesn't have the best mental health, but you know, neither do I. But anyways, I haven't really seen many characters that can portray mental illness like that without like glorifying it, you know, almost. I feel like she just, I don't know, just something about her just speaks to me.
You know, and I've always loved X-23 since I first saw her in what video game? Marvel vs. Capcom 3. Like, that was the first video game I saw her in, and I enjoyed playing with her more than I enjoyed playing with Wolverine. And then seeing her in the Logan movie, and I was just like, yo, like, this is awesome. And you know, I thought that the actress did a really good job, and if the Fox universe was still a thing, like, I was really hoping to, you know, see her get her own series, since Logan was gone now. You know, Hugh Jackman stepped away from the role, but you know, hopefully we'll see that actress reappear in the MCU, because you know, we have all of this amazing stuff that's coming out now. And you know, I don't know if you've seen everything that just dropped from San Diego Comic-Con, like all this Marvel content that's about to come out. Well, let me ask you, what are you most excited for to see that's been announced so far?
Gosh, there's so much stuff. Okay.
It's so much.
The thing that really sticks out in my mind is Echo, because you don't really see, like, you obviously there are disabled superheroes in the MCU, but you don't see very many that are actually played by characters with those disabilities. And so as a disabled aspiring actress, that's always like super exciting for me to see that people are getting cast in roles they deserve, you know?
Yeah. No, I mean, yeah, I agree with you on that. I think that it's a very different approach. And what's the word that I'm looking for? Dang, I always say this word and I'm mad that I'm having a brain fart right now and I can't think. Representation. There we go. Like, it's good to see that form of representation, because it just goes to show that, you know, if you do have a disability, that it's just like, I'm not different from anybody else. I can still act like, just like, you know, players that, you know, might be missing a limb or something. Like I saw a commercial the other day where the guy, he was missing his arm, but he was still playing basketball and he was still killing it. So it's just because you have a disability doesn't mean that you can't do the same things like everybody else. You know, it may be harder for you to do it, but at the same time, it's always cool to show that, hey, I can hang just as much as the other person, you know? So I'm really looking forward to Daredevil. You know, I saw that and it's supposed to be getting 18 episodes. And then again, I'm looking forward to Fantastic Four as well, because Fantastic Four is one of my favorite things, but I really, really, really want to see the X-Men finally appear in the MCU. We saw Charles Xavier and Multiverse of Madness. And did you finish watching Miss Marvel?
Yes. Oh my God.
Oh, so hey, so look, everybody that's watching, spoiler alert, because if you haven't watched Miss Marvel, I'm sorry. But if you want to, you can skip 5 minutes and then come back to the interview. But yo, who's that cosplayer?
Dandelion size.
When they said that she was a mutant, I was just like, yo, like, and they played the X-Men theme song too.
I know.
Yo, I was so hyped because I'm ready to see the X-Men. Now, let me ask you, because they said that this is called the Multiverse Saga, do you think that we'll see the X-Men from the Fox universe come into the main MCU universe? Or do you think that starting with Miss Marvel, that, you know, mutants have always been in the MCU, but now they're going to start appearing more? What do you think is going to happen?
Yeah, I mean, I could see a combination of both things happening. Like, I really want to see Laura Kinney's actress come and like take on the mantle of Wolverine in the MCU. Also, just I'd love to see like new actors picking up the roles of different X-Men. Seeing people from the other movies would be cool too, though. So, I mean, I'm good with whatever happens.
Yeah, man, for sure. And what was the last movie that came out? Was it the New Mutants? Like, I thought that movie was fine, and I was just so disappointed that was the last movie to come out in that franchise. And Marvel was just like, "Yep, that's it. Like, we don't want those people." And you know, I feel like it's cool to bring people from the Fox universe over, but at the same time, it's just like you can also introduce new actors. But I think everybody that was in the newer X-Men movies, I enjoyed all of them. I enjoyed the guy that was playing Cyclops and Jean Grey and whatnot. But if they want to do whatever they want to do, then they can do whatever they want to do. So, you know, now I want to ask you, if there was one cosplay that you've done and you could be that character and be a part of that universe, who would it be?
Well, I'm gonna take this question, like, I'm gonna overthink this a lot, because if I'm this character, then that means they also have to live through like their trauma and stuff. So it's like, I don't cosplay many characters that have, you know, a chill backstory.
That's true. Yeah, Scarlet Witch. Yeah. No, I totally understand.
You know what? I'll go with Squirrel Girl. She's got cool powers. She's just basically Canadian Spider-Man. It's cool.
Yeah, like that's somebody that I'm looking forward to seeing come to the MCU too. I remember there was a question that I had answered back in the day about, you know, who was somebody that you would send to fight against Ultron. I was like, Squirrel Girl, because she could just send all of the squirrels and chipmunks to get inside Ultron's body, and then they can just take all of the circuits apart, and then bam, he's done. And people was just like, that's interesting. That might actually work. So yeah, I'd definitely be interested to finally see Squirrel Girl come to the MCU. I mean, I just know they have so much stuff that's going on right now, so I'm really looking forward to it when it eventually happens. But I want to ask you now, when you're not cosplaying, like, what are some of your hobbies that you're into?
I do a lot of writing, books, movies. I haven't like made a movie officially, but like screenplays are really fun to write for me. I've self-published 2 books.
Nice.
And and I also do a lot of art, lots of creative related things. So
yeah, I love that, because it's just like, you're a jack of all trades. You know, you have so much stuff that you love to do. And I feel like when you're always busy and when you're always creating things, it kind of leaves the mind from thinking too much, you know? And I think that that's cool. And make sure that you send me those links for your book so that way I can put them down below in the description. So if anybody's interested in checking them out, they can support you. Because that's what we do up here on Leveling Up with Benjamin Banks. We support everybody and we want to see everybody level up and keep on growing. You know what I'm saying? So final question that I have for you is, what is some advice that you would give to somebody if they would love to get into cosplay?
Just have fun. Don't worry about like screen accuracy or anything like that. Obviously, like that's cool when you can, but like it doesn't have to be perfect. We're literally just all playing dress up. Some of my favorite cosplays I've done have been like 100% thrifted, and then stuff that I've spent hundreds of dollars on, I've like worn it and I'm like, eh. So I mean, price, if you don't have a lot of money, that's fine. Honestly, I do prefer thrifted things most of the time. Buying cosplays is valid, making your own cosplays is valid, thrifting your cosplays is valid. Have fun. You're not alone and you're gonna meet some cool people.
Okay, I love that. And just like you said, you're gonna meet some cool people. I met you, you met me. People like me, I like people, and that's what it's all about. So Danyelle, thank you so much for joining me up here on Who's That Cosplayer. It was awesome learning more about you, and that's what I love doing about this, because you learn so much about so many cosplayers that you meet over the internet, and I just want everybody to know everything that they can about some of their favorite cosplayers that they follow. So with that being said, let everybody in social media land know where they can find you at.
You can find me on Instagram and TikTok at Danyelle The Variant. My links to the book will be somewhere, I guess. So if you want to read my books, that's cool. Yeah, that's my social media. I don't know. Sometimes I forget how to talk. So that's cool. You know, so if you see me in person and I start like glitching, I'm fine. It's just happened sometimes. Good.
It's the Matrix. It's like, I cannot compute. No, I do the same thing sometimes. And like usually when I do, I pause and then I'm like, time to hit rewind. And then I unpause. And then, I rewind the time. So there we go. All right, final question. I got one more question. If you could have any mutant ability, what would you like to have?
I don't know. I feel like healing powers would be very useful for me. I work in theater. Theater can be sometimes a very dangerous job. Like it's, that would be good. I don't know. Yeah, healing. I'm trying to think because, they're like all the mutant powers like have their drawbacks. So yeah. I'll probably think of something after we're done.
Oh yeah, I agree. Like healing would be a good one, especially because when you get older and when you're working out and all that stuff, and it's just like, I'm so sore. For me, it would be teleportation. So then that way I can get wherever I need to go. I can go to cons, I can go to wrestling shows, I can go to the gym.
That's a good answer.
Yeah, but at the same time, it has its drawbacks because what is Nightcrawler? He can teleport anywhere that he can see. He has to see where he's going, so he can't just teleport anywhere. So like that would kind of be my drawback. It's like if I've wrestled at that place before, then I can teleport. But I think also too, he can only teleport a certain distance. So yeah, that would be my drawback. So with that being said, y'all know where to follow Danyelle at. You can follow me, your hero Benjamin Banks, at KingBenji_Banks on Twitter and Instagram. You can find me on Facebook at Benjamin Banks. I should be the first person to pop up. If not, then I need to contact Mr. Zuckerberg. Thank you all, everybody, for watching this interview. Make sure that you follow Danyelle on all of her social media accounts. Support her. Check out her book. The link will be down below in the description, as well as the podcast link, where we have new episodes every Tuesday, and then the video of that episode is up here on YouTube on Friday. Check out some interviews we have up here, reviews, reaction videos, and just stay tuned for new content that we always bring you each and every week. Like I always say, keep that pinky up, stay positive. We'll see you next time on Leveling Up with Benjamin Banks. Peace.
Thanks again, everybody, for watching another episode of Leveling Up with Benjamin Banks. Make sure you like, follow, subscribe to the channel. podcast. We got that too. Make sure you give us a thumbs up and hit that bell for further episodes and notifications. Thanks a lot to our patrons. And if you don't mind, join the Patreon. We'll be having new specials coming up soon.